If you've been following the sport closely, you've probably noticed someone pretty major missing from the start list. Jim Walmsley.
That's the big thing. For so many people, Jim Walmsley is Western States. He's such an icon. And him not being there this year, it actually gives us a pretty unique chance.
A chance how?
Well, we can go beyond just the race results. We can really dive into the mind of this guy, unpack his journey, his unconventional strategies, his very data-driven training, and just his really unfiltered thoughts on ultra running. Think of it like getting practical insights straight from Jim himself. We're talking race tactics, cooling strategies, injury recovery.
And just what it really takes to compete at that level. It's basically a deep dive into the lessons learned from one of the very best. So let's start right there with this unexpected absence. Given all the hype for Western States, why isn't Jim Walmsley on the line this year? What's the core reason?
It really boils down to a knee injury, specifically tendonitis, and it's been persistent.
Ah, okay. Not something new then.
No, not at all. It actually started right after Western States last year, 2023. Then UTMB aggravated it, and then the Chianti race late last year pushed it further.
Chianti. Isn't that a huge win for him?
It was. He called it one of his greatest performances, actually. But he also said it knocked him back health-wise, so a tough trade-off.
That's just brutal, the reality of the sport, I guess. So what did the healing process look like? What did he have to do?
Well, first he tried a cortisone shot back in early April. He was pretty blunt, said it did nothing, really.
Right, not uncommon.
So that led him to get a PRP injection, platelet-rich plasma, in early May. But that wasn't any kind of quick fix. It meant, in his words, a full hard reset.
A full hard reset. What does that mean for someone like Jim?
It meant 2 weeks of absolutely nothing. No bike, no lifting, no running. Zero. Exactly. And then the build back, he described it as, gradual and painful.
Gradual.
Like after those 2 weeks off, he started with just 5 miles the next week, then 20, then 40 miles the week after that. He's still very much in that phase, just carefully seeing how the knee responds, stretching its elasticity.
And the mental side of that. We always talk physical injury, but the head game must be tough.
He was really open about that. Said an initial doctor told him to just push through the pain.
Uh-oh.
Which made running very much not fun. And he said it caused him to sort of unravel mentally. Imagine that long build from November through Chianti, only for the injury to flare right back up. It's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Absolutely. So, for you listening, what's the big takeaway from Jim's experience here? The practical lesson.
I think the crucial thing is prioritizing that long-term health. Jim specifically said he chose not to push through this time because he'd rather have small, healthy runs than a summer of not running again.
Which is what happened after UTMB last year, right?
Exactly. So it's a powerful lesson, Sometimes the smartest thing for your long-term enjoyment and success is just hitting that reset button.
Makes total sense. Okay, so beyond the injury itself, this naturally leads us into his whole approach to Western States. And this is where he really gives like a master class in doing things differently. And maybe nothing is more direct or controversial than his view on pacers.
He's incredibly strong on this and very vocal. He believes elite runners, for what he calls pure competition, just shouldn't have pacers.
He calls them a crutch, doesn't he?
He does. He even goes so far as to say elites who use pacers shouldn't count in the top 10. And points out he hasn't used them in his 4 wins there.
And he mentioned that 2023 race being 2-on-1 against Rod and his pacer. That really cemented it for him.
He felt like a pacer gives you a mental refill, basically. And when he was running solo near someone with the pacer, he just preferred it to be one-on-one.